In the ancient shadows of time, before empires rose and before science held dominion over nature, humanity turned to rituals, strange, powerful, and often terrifying. These were not mere customs. They were sacred keys to worlds beyond, tools to summon gods, to curse enemies, to bring rain, or to seal the dead in peace or torment. Across deserts, jungles, mountains, and frozen tundras, every civilization developed rituals steeped in symbolism, fear, and awe. They danced with fire, bathed in blood, whispered to spirits, and bound themselves to forces we can barely comprehend. Tonight, we journey into a world lost to time, a world of sacred ceremonies, unsettling sacrifices, and ancient rites that defy logic. This is the strange rituals of ancient culture. High atop the towering temples of Tenochtitlan, drums thundered through the air like the heartbeat of a god. The people gathered in reverent silence, and at the summit, an obsidian blade gleamed in the sun. The Aztecs were one of the most powerful and advanced civilizations of the pre-Columbian Americas, but also among the most brutal. Their rituals of human sacrifice were not acts of cruelty, but offerings to the gods. To them, blood was divine currency. And the gods, especially the sun god Huitzilopochtli, were always hungry. Captured warriors were honored, not pitied. They were treated with respect, before being stretched across stone slabs, their chests cut open, and their still-beating hearts offered skyward. Thousands could be sacrificed in a single festival. During the dedication of the Great Pyramid of Tenochtitlan, some accounts claim over 20,000 lives were taken. The streets ran red, but the people cheered. To us, it's monstrous. To them, it was holy. What kind of world must exist where death becomes celebration, and sacrifice ensures the balance of the universe? Dancing with the dead, the Famadihana ritual of Madagascar. In the highlands of Madagascar, beneath the sun and between the tombs, something strange unfolds every 7 years. The scent of burning incense mingles with laughter and song. The dead are rising, but not in the way you think. It's called Famadihana, the turning of the bones. Wrapped in silk, the corpses of ancestors are exhumed, removed from their crypts, and paraded through the village. Families sing, dance, and celebrate. The dead are rewrapped in fresh cloth, and messages are whispered into their decaying ears. It's a festival, yes, but also a duty. To honor those who came before, to show they are not forgotten, and to ask for their guidance from the beyond. Western eyes might see desecration, but here it's love, it's life, it's legacy. Death, for the Malagasy people, is not the end. It is only the beginning of another kind of presence. The Oracle of Delphi, speaking for the gods in ancient Greece. High on Mount Parnassus, above the shimmering valley of Phocis, a whisper rises from a chasm in the earth. A woman trembles, her eyes rolling back, her voice heavy with riddles. She is the Pythia, the Oracle of Delphi, and her words can alter empires. In ancient Greece, rulers, generals, and common folk traveled for weeks to hear her speak. They believed she was the voice of Apollo himself. She would sit upon a tripod, inhale sacred vapors, possibly ethylene gas rising from a fissure, and fall into trance. In that altered state, she would deliver prophecy, obscure, poetic, yet terrifyingly accurate. A single sentence from the oracle could change the course of war, or end a kingdom. What was real? What was madness? And what ancient knowledge hid in those fumes, waiting to be released through trembling lips? The mummification rites of ancient Egypt, preparing for eternity. In the dry sands of the Nile Valley, where the sun never relents, death was never the end. It was a passage, a judgment, a transformation. The ancient Egyptians believed the soul had many parts, and each needed careful tending after death. The body was not buried. It was purified, drained of fluids, stuffed with natron salts, and left to dry for weeks. The brain was removed with hooks through the nostrils. The heart, the seat of emotion and reason, was often left inside, unless judged unworthy. Amulets were placed within the wrappings, each one a spell, a prayer, a protection. These were not the actions of a culture obsessed with death. These were the careful, sacred preparations of those seeking eternal life. In every bandage was a story. In every jar, a soul's hope for immortality. The sun dance, piercing rituals of the Plains tribes. Under the vast skies of North America, where the grasslands stretch forever, the Lakota and other Plains tribes performed one of the most sacred and painful rituals of all, the sun dance. It began with fasting and prayer, days without food or water. The participants painted their bodies, each color a symbol, a sacred story. Then came the piercings. Skewers were inserted through the skin of the chest or back, ropes attached to a central pole, the tree of life, and then the dance, pulling, twisting, tearing. This was not self-harm, it was sacrifice, a prayer in motion, an offering of pain in exchange for visions, blessings, and the survival of the people. Some fainted, some bled, some found clarity. Only the strong emerged from the sun dance, reborn in spirit, bathed in suffering, sanctified by the sky. The night marchers, spirit processions of ancient Hawaii. When the winds grow still and drums echo in the night, the people of Hawaii know to flee or fall face down in silence. For the night marchers are coming. These spectral warriors, born from ancient Hawaiian rituals and legend, are said to rise from their burial grounds and march in ghostly formation. Dressed in war regalia, carrying torches and beating sacred drums, they march to sacred battle sites or royal resting grounds. According to tradition, anyone who sees them must show reverence by lying still, eyes closed, face down on the earth. To look upon a night marcher is to invite instant death unless you share their bloodline. These aren't just ghost stories. They are the echoes of an ancient belief in mana, the spiritual power of people, objects, and rituals. In old Hawaii, everything sacred carried mana, and mana demanded respect. Even in the modern world, people speak of sightings, mysterious lights, haunting chants, footprints in untouched ground, as though the rituals of old still march through time. The Saturmawe glove of pain, Amazonian rite of passage. In the depths of the Amazon rainforest, beneath a canopy so thick it hides the sky, a boy becomes a man, not with words but with agony. The Saturmawe tribe believes that strength and courage must be proven. And so, they created one of the most painful rites of passage in the world, the bullet ant glove. Bullet ants, named for the searing pain of their sting, are woven into a glove made of leaves, their stingers pointed inward. Dozens, sometimes hundreds, inside a single glove. The initiate inserts his hand and dances. For 10 minutes, he must endure the firestorm of venom. Muscles seize. Pain explodes through the nerves. Hallucinations may come, but he must not cry out, he must not flinch. The ritual is repeated, 20 times, sometimes more. But once completed, the boy is no longer a child. He carries pain like armor, and he earns his place among warriors. To outsiders, it's torture. To the Saturmawe, it is the forging of spirit through sacred fire. The Tibetan Sky Burial, a ritual of return. Atop the desolate cliffs of the Himalayas, where the land meets the clouds, death is not hidden, it is embraced. Here, the people of Tibet perform a ritual as ancient as the mountains themselves, the sky burial. The body of the deceased is not buried, nor burned. Instead, it is taken to a sacred site, dismembered by ritual specialists, and left for the vultures. Yes, vultures. This is not an act of cruelty, it is an act of compassion. To Buddhists, the body is but a vessel. The soul has already moved on. Feeding the body to birds is a final act of generosity and a return to nature's cycle. The bones are crushed, mixed with barley flour and yak butter, and given as the final offering. There are no coffins, no crypts, no mourning in silence. Only the wind, the sky, the circling birds, and a belief that death is not an end, but a gift to the living world. The oracle bones of ancient China, divining the will of heaven. Long before dynasties ruled and dragons soared in folklore, the people of ancient China sought answers from an unlikely place: bones. They were called oracle bones, scapulae from oxen or shells from turtles. Etched with questions, heated until they cracked, then read like the lines of fate. The questions were profound. Will the harvest be good? Should we go to war? Is the emperor favored by the spirits? Priests, often shamans or scribes, interpreted the cracks. The patterns weren't random. To them, they were messages from the ancestors or the gods. These rituals formed the bedrock of early Chinese spirituality and became the foundation of written Chinese language. So much power, encoded in bone and fire, whispering the secrets of fate and future. In every crack, destiny. In every question, the voice of heaven. The Firewalkers of Fiji, mastering flame through faith. The coals burn red, the smoke rises in shimmering waves, and across this bed of fire a man steps forward barefoot, calm, unscathed. This is the ritual of the Firewalkers of Bika Island in Fiji, a tradition passed down for centuries. The men who walk the fire undergo weeks of spiritual preparation. They abstain from certain foods, isolate themselves, and recite ancient prayers. Only those chosen by lineage and faith may perform the rite. And then they walk. Across stones heated to over 500 degrees Fahrenheit, they pass without pain, without injury. Scientists have searched for explanations, perhaps physics, perhaps moisture, perhaps calloused feet. But to the Fijians, it is not science. It is a pact with ancestral spirits and the gods of the land. It is belief made manifest. It is ritual, alive in flame. Echoes of the ancients, what these rituals say about us. From blood-stained altars to skyward burials, from whispered prayers in the smoke to dances with the dead, the strange rituals of ancient cultures were never meaningless. They were the beating heart of belief, identity, and survival. Each ritual, no matter how alien it seems today, was rooted in a need to understand death, to honor life, to connect with the divine, or simply to endure. We look back now, not with mockery, but with reverence, because in their mystery lies a reflection of us. What do we fear? What do we hope? What would we offer to the gods we believe in? Perhaps these rituals weren't strange at all. Perhaps they were just human. Soft ambient music fades in. Thank you for joining us on this journey through forgotten fire, bone, blood, and spirit. If you enjoyed this dive into the mysteries of ancient culture, don't forget to like, subscribe, and explore more tales from the shadows of history. Until next time, keep wondering.